Salam, I want to highlight the injuries that go on in basketball. We've had a recent major one with regards to Kevin Durant, who's obviously one of the best basketball players ever. Not quite on my level, but he's still great. He's basically gone in his practice session before a game, and the way he got injured was he went to make a layup, and the biggest problem he did was he's obviously a heel striker, so he on his layup he dribbles, gathers the ball, then he goes heel, forefoot, to heel, forefoot, and then sprain his ankle in his jump. So the reason he sprained his ankle was because he was basically going heel first instead of forefoot. So if he went forefoot, and then he failed, he would have just failed down to his ankle. Instead, what happened was he went heel strike, sprain, because when your body fails, sometimes you got excess amount of energy going into it on the movement. Uh, if you fail on a forefoot, you will fail down to your ankle. But if you fail on your heel strike, your ankle can only fail out of the joint. So you'll just come out the joint and you'll get injured. And in his case, he may be out for several months because of it. So that's one of the biggest problems. In basketball, it happens a lot just because it's one of the most high impact sports around. And we've got cases of other famous basketball players as well, such as Kawhi Leonard, who's had ankle and knee issues. Uh, Ben Simmons, who has had back problems. And obviously, people with regards to players like Kawhi and Ben, they say, they don't love basketball enough, or that they should be playing through the injury or something. Like, it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal because these guys don't even know how to walk. They're out here heel striking. They're suffering through their game, so they're playing at a high level while suffering through it. And their injuries are real. They're legit, and it's not something to be like, oh, we got to play through it. It's not. So with Ben, obviously his back's going to be hurting because of the impact because he's 6'10", he's got a lot of weight to carry around, and he's playing a point guard role, which is highly, uh, it's more explosive than a normal traditional big man for someone who's 6'10". So his back's gonna obviously get worn out quickly. A lot of heel striking that they do instead of actually knowing how to stand and move around 4 foot, which is the proper way to do things. They heel strike. So if they're heel striking around, there's a lot of energy going from your heel to your ankle joint bone. So that shoots up energy to your knee. Your knees get wrecked. The padding gets worn out, and then it goes to your hip, and then obviously goes to your spine, which is there's a whole lot of columns there. So there's a lot of compressive, and it really damages the lower back mostly, which is a major problem in basketball. And then the knees, of course. We know of Lonzo Ball. He's coming out having his third surgery on the same knee because they think, oh, the surgery is going to fix it. It's not. See, what the surgery does is it helps fix certain problems, but then he has to actually fix them properly by his movements and his training. But his movements and training are really bad because he's a heel striker. So it's never going to get better. If he carries on the way it is, he's going to have to retire. It's it's not even like me saying I promise he will never get better. It's just the reality of the movements that he's doing in heel striking around, playing basketball, which is high impact. He will never get better. He's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. He will never be able to play at a high level. It's just the reality because the injury is, I believe, it's his meniscus, so it's torn. And that's the padding in your knee. Why is this padding getting messed up in these players' knees? Because they heel strike. So if they're heel striking around and the padding gets worn, and you go in for surgery to try and heal it up, but you carry on heel striking in your sport, you're gonna keep tearing the padding. There's no amount of surgeries that's gonna change and make you better. You have to change your movement patterns, and that in itself, and of course you got strengthen, you got the muscles all around, and increase the flexibility, so your range of motion gets increased as well, so you can move around better. But the major problem with these players is that they're heel strikers, and they are essentially suffering through the sport to try and compete, and they do not even know how to walk. So they also don't know how to jump, which I've got a video on. Learn how to actually jump, because it's extremely important, especially if your sport has so much jumping in it. It's vital that you know exactly how to jump and you're actually good at doing it. So yeah, the reason Kevin Durant got injured, because he's heel striking. Think of it this way. So on the layup, you go heel strike, forefoot, move, heel strike, forefoot, move. So let's take it as this, right? So if you were going to tell me that this heel strike here, just lean forward, heel strike, lean forward, heel strike, is an exercise, it's pretty foolish, isn't it? Like, who out here does this as an exercise? So you just lean forward and keep hitting the heel on the floor and trying to catch that energy. You don't do it. What you do is you go forefoot like this. This is the exercise that you do. But then on your layup, you just go heel first. So you know that if you go heel first, your heel can only fail out of the joint socket, and you're missing out your whole foot that could be used in this movement in order to share the energy load, so that your body's more capable of movement and explosive movement in this case. So if you do forefoot, you'll be able to jump amazingly well, right? This is excellent energy return. Now try doing that purely heel, going heel up and heel down. I hate doing this, but I can't even get higher. So that's clearly stupid. And, foregoing or straight up not using my foot properly, that's really dumb as well. So that's the equivalent of Kevin Durant and pretty much every other basketball player heel striking on a layup, for example. So if you got heel strike, is the equivalent of trying to skip heel first, as opposed to how we actually skip. You already know how to skip. If you're a professional athlete, or professional basketball at least, you know how to skip. Forefoot, your heel never touches the ground. You can do this, till you get tired, which is important, because if you want to get tired, that's fine. You could rest and recover, great. But what you can't do is get injured, which is what heel striking skips will do. It'll injure you. So it's the same idea as to why you shouldn't be heel striking on your layups, for example. But I say you shouldn't even be heel striking on your standing. Stand up, forefoot, using your muscles. Walk, forefoot, using your muscles. Jog, run, jump. It's all really forefoot. So this is a prevalent problem in basketball, and it's not going to stop until the players learn how to stand, learn how to walk. Sounds silly, but yeah, they don't even know how to do these basic things. So